everyone, welcome to Wall Hang-Up Series. Linda from the Discerning Kaleidoscope. I am so excited to present this to you. Today we're going to do part one, which is colors, okay? And I think it's really important to go over specific information. Let's just start off by saying, during the pandemic, because all of us were stuck inside, it certainly came to light that many of us may not have been feeling as relaxed and comfortable in our homes that we really should be. Your home should be your safe haven. It should be peaceful. And one way that you do that is to make sure what is surrounding you makes you happy and does not give you any sort of stress whatsoever. And everybody has their own individual taste, and your home should reflect that taste. No two homes are going to be the same, nor should they be. And I am going to help you, hopefully, find your own style. So keeping that in mind, let's just jump right into it. So let me just start off by saying I have no formal training in decorating. I'm not going to pretend I'm an interior decorator because I'm not. Having said that, I am an artist and I feel like I have a really good sense of color, a keen sense of color. And that has really helped me over the years to make my home as relaxing and as serene as possible. I have staged homes for other people, and I have also helped other people put up whatever existing wall art they do have on hand, try to find the right placement in the home that looks the best for them. So that's what we're going to do. I know, and I'm going to show you a little bit about my condo today. We're going to see different parts and paintings and colors and so forth. I've been fortunate to receive a lot of compliments over the years. I'll move into a new place and within a couple of weeks it's in fairly decent shape. Doesn't mean it's perfect, and we're still working on it here, but for me it's an easier thing to do, and it's a creative outlet, so I really enjoy it. Having said that, let's get started. So whenever you think about designing a room or a particular space, in my opinion, you want to think about color first, okay? You have to ask yourself, what color makes me happy? What color do I want to accentuate in my space? And we'll get into specifics in a moment. I will tell you when I show you certain paintings and certain pieces of furniture, you'll be able to tell that I really love the cool tones. I love the blues, the greens, and you'll see from the paintings that I love the beach. So that's what brings me happiness. That's not necessarily what's going to bring everybody happiness. You have to choose your own style. So let me walk over here to the couch. And Greg's going to pivot the camera for me. And when we were designing this condo, we moved in about, 3 years ago, Greg, right? A little more than 3 years ago. The first piece that we started with was the couch, okay? And we have a sectional here. And I'm just going to kind of, you can see this beautiful, it's like a blue teal color. And, the Discerning Kaleidoscope, come on, I'm all about color. So that is kind of like our anchor color, which means everything else we're going to choose is going to have some form of that color in it. And then Greg, if you can kind of pivot up to the painting that's over the couch. And I do not take credit at all for this painting. This is from a phenomenal painter from Kennebunkport, Maine, William Hoyt, and it's actually the same one that's over the fireplace. But look at the colors. If you can see the colors, you have the blues from the couch, you have some greens, you have some really nice neutral tones, which are the sand and the rocks as well. And it's important to kind of think about what colors are going to really work together. Now I can tell you that, we'll go back here, but I can tell you that, and again, here we go. We've got the same sort of colors. This happens to be by the same artist. Anyways, he's very, very talented. Certain colors wouldn't work. So you saw that teal couch. Now, if I had an abstract painting over this fireplace and it had reds and oranges and all these bright, warm colors, doesn't mean it's horrible, don't misunderstand me, but there would be clashing with the couch. You've got to kind of keep things in the same color palette to make it as smooth as possible. And Greg, I'm going to ask you if you're able to pivot down to the rug. And you can see in the rug, we have gray tones. We have neutral tones, some teal tone. I'm sorry, some tan tones. We also have some olive green, and obviously we have the blue like we have in the couch. And if we pivot over here, so we wanted to have some obviously extra seating in the family room. So we chose these recliners. Greg really wanted a recliner, but I didn't want the big puffy marshmallow ones, in my opinion. It's too small of a space. But I think we chose this really beautiful neutral color because, again, you're talking light tan. It reminds me of the sand of the beach, and it's all in the same color palette. You can accentuate the color in your room, obviously, with pillows. And again, if you look at the colors in the pillows, you have teal, you have the olive green, you have some of the tan colors, even a little bit of a gray. And one more pivot, Greg, if you can kind of pivot over to, you know, it's kind of like a credenza that has a little bit of bar area in there. And it might be hard to see the actual color. Actually, Greg and I kind of debated this when we bought it. He thinks it's more of a kind of a gray. I think it's more of an olive green. But nonetheless, it works in the room, okay? So when we're picking out wall art, in terms of what we want to do, we want to take a look at those colors. So you see the colors that are in this painting. You saw the colors that are in the painting over the couch. Now I'm going to pivot around behind Greg. And I'll go this way, Greg. Okay, and this is another wall, and again you will see that we have the same sort of tones. Okay, it's not to say I don't like some warm colors, but again, I'm trying to keep everything calm and relaxing. When you go into a room, when you go into a space, do I need to go more this way or more this way?
Just
okay, I'm gonna go this way. All right, you want to make it as calm and relaxing as possible. And this is just my opinion. When you have too much going on, it's overwhelming for the eyes. And again, everybody's going to have their own style. And the most important thing is that you're happy with it. While we're over here, let's just take a look at these, the frame and the matting as well. So besides picking wall art that's going to complement the colors you already have going on in your space, you want to consider the frames and the matting. Now, I will say this. So you see both frames are not exactly the same. And I bought these already framed. Could I have changed the frames to make them matchy-matchy? Yeah, I could have, but I didn't think I needed to. They're both silver. They're both silver colors. I don't know if they're, you know, stainless steel or whatever they're made out of. They both have the same color. And it's kind of nice. They're different. They're by different artists, although they're both showing the sea, it's a little different style. And then if you look at the matting, you know, both of them are neutral. You have one on the left that's like, you know, an off-white, pale yellow, and it's double matted. And then you see the one on the right, which is white, and that's also double matted with, it looks like a brown behind it. That, for me, that just worked perfectly there. I don't think you need to kill yourself to make your home peaceful. You don't want to drive yourself crazy. You don't want to make yourself more stressful. And I will say this, when we moved from a bigger house and we downsized, I was picking and choosing what pieces of art I wanted to bring with me. I didn't bring everything because, you know, you can have just so much on the wall. So that's my explanation on that. Let's then go down the hall. And if Greg, if you're able to help me out. We can see the dog maybe. And if we look at, again, the rug. Now, these are two separate rooms, but we're continuing with the same color palette because there's no wall in between them. And it would be silly to have one room that's predominantly all blues and greens, and then this other room, in my opinion, if it was all purples and reds and oranges, I think it'd be too much. There'd be a lot of clashing going on. So if we come over here, and I'm gonna walk around the door here, and we have kind of two jut outs here. Again, you know, we have with the pastel sort of colors, and you'll see here, I made sure all of the frames were black. okay? Because I think that for consistency and for continuity, it just made sense. And that's the other thing is, you know, if you buy a frame that you don't like, you try it out. First, I always encourage everybody, try out what you have, because you never know, you know, what it's going to look like. Live with it for a little while. If you don't like it, you have a choice. You can either return it or you can just paint it. I have spray painted more frames in my lifetime than I care to even mention. But there's nothing wrong with that, especially if you want a frame of a specific color. So there's one more place I want to take you. We're going to go this way. And this is our Florida room. Oh, it's nice and cool out here. Well, Greg, I'm going to have you focus on actually Leonard Hogg's beautiful piece. So this is actually a mosaic, paper mosaic from one of our artists, Leonard Hogg. He's so talented. I'm going to be doing a studio tour with him very soon, and you're going to be able to see that on different social media platforms. By the way, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we're starting TikTok, and I've also started a YouTube channel as well. But let's focus on his for 1 minute, because I want to point something out about the frame. So I went and I bought this frame, and I brought it home, and kind of to my dismay, I realized, you know, I thought it was a different shade of gray, and I realized it's really a lot like the siding. It's very, very similar. Now I've had this hanging up for a little bit, okay? And I'm still deciding whether or not I want to paint this frame or not. My problem with the way it looks right now, and again, this is just my opinion, is I don't think it pops. It blends too much into the wall. I'm really thinking of painting it. And then you say, well, what would you paint it, Linda? Greg, if you can kind of take photos or video of the color of the furniture that's in here, you will see that, you know, it's rattan and it's like a darker brown. I'm not a big fan of brown frames, but nonetheless, whatever I decide to paint it, it's going to have to complement it. I might just paint it blue. Pick up one of the blue shades that are in here. There's a pretty light blue. I might paint it blue. But the point to be made is the whole thing is a process. Not everything has to be done all at one time. Live with your art for a while. Figure out what colors. Once you figure out the colors, that's half the battle, because then you're going to be able to weed through maybe what you already have for wall art and decide what works best for you. Again, you have to make yourself happy. Don't worry about anybody else coming into your home. You've got to be able to get up in the morning and look around and say, well, this is very peaceful to me. And I can tell you, for both Greg and myself, we adore the beach. We would be living at the beach if we could. So that's why we gravitate towards these colors. So before I say thank you for joining us, I want to see if there's any questions. Does anybody have any questions?
We did have a question from Mildred. She emailed us. How does wall color affect your color choices in your wall art?
Oh, that's a great question, Mildred. Well, as you can see, the colors that we have right now is like this off-white. And to be honest with you, that's just the way it was painted when we moved in. I've been saying for a little while that I really want to paint. I really want to go with kind of a light gray. You have to keep that in mind. If you have you don't want to take away from your wall art by having such bold, bright colors throughout. I think that people are going to be so focused on the wall color that they're not going to see what you have hanging on your walls. That's number one. Number two, if you have wallpaper, and if it's a busy pattern, and again, if you like it, keep it. I'm not telling you to take down your wallpaper, but I think that's really going to impact what you're going to choose. Because again, if this wall had wallpaper on it and was a really, really busy pattern, I don't know how well this beautiful painting would go with it. People would be, there's too much to look at. The whole point of putting up wall art is that kind of closes in and you can really appreciate what you do have. I hope that answers your question, Mildred. What else do we have?
Somebody, I can't make her name out, might be Stephanie. Can you vary colors from room to room?
Another fantastic question. You can do whatever you want. If you want to paint your walls stripes and with zebras and giraffes, all the power to you. I can just tell you from an aesthetic point of view, if you have an open floor plan, and I showed you our open floor plan, it doesn't make sense to deviate, in my opinion, that much from, you know, what you already have. And Greg, if you just kind of, I don't want to have you, but if you can kind of just take a picture of the kitchen table and the credenza behind that you can do from here, and you can see, folks, it's gray. I knew when we were moving in, we were not going to bring our traditional dining room set, and I really wanted to have the gray, so that's something that we chose. So it made sense to me that we're keeping the same colors because it's an open floor plan. Now in the other room, which maybe we'll show you another series, in another part of series, it's, you know, there's a study with the door. You know, I think you have a little, I would have more freedom to go with different colors if I want. I tend to stick with the same colors. That's just me, but I don't think if you have a room adjacent to one another like this, it makes sense to go with one set of colors in here and then a completely different set of colors over there. I don't think it's relaxing. I don't think it gives a sense of serenity. Any other questions?
Well, I think you might have touched on this. This is from Julie. Do all your frames have to be the same color and style?
Excellent question. So I showed you on the side, you know, the two ocean pictures that they were both silver, but they were different frames. They had different matting. And then I also showed you down the hallway the paintings that all had black frames. You know, again, it's a preference. If I'm grouping, you know, 2-3 different paintings together, I'm not a big fan of having a bunch of different colored frames. Like one's brass and maybe more traditional, one is black and contemporary, another one is an old brown frame that's been, the painting's been in that frame for a gazillion years, nobody's changed it. I would challenge you to look outside the box. You might have some really wonderful art already in your home. Maybe you just need to change it up and change the frame and change the matting, or change the location of where you're going to place a piece of art. It's trial and error, and it all depends on how comfortable you feel. It's an ongoing process. We've been in, as I said, in the condo for over 3 years, and we're still not done. And Greg, if you want to pivot just one more time to this blank wall over here, you'll see what I'm talking about, folks. This is blank because I know what I want to put there, but I haven't found it yet. I'm looking for some sort of ironwork piece. I mean, you saw, I think you saw over the credenza in the eating area. There's an iron cross there. I'm trying to find a piece that's not mass produced. I'd like to give my money to artists that would fit in well there. And I've seen a couple of pieces, but it just wasn't right. When we are out and about, we always look, and at some point we're going to find that exact piece that we feel comfortable with, and we'll put it there. Am I embarrassed that there's a bare wall? No, it is what it is. I would rather have a bare wall and find something I really like that goes with what I've already set up here than just buy something for the sake of filling up a wall. And is that it on questions?
That's all we had this time.
All right, excellent. I hope everybody enjoyed this series. Again, colors are very, very important. We are going to have 3 more parts to this series, and I will let you know. Probably, I'm assuming they'll be out maybe one every other week or whatnot, but I will certainly post on my social platforms. Again, Facebook, Instagram. We have an account with TikTok. I haven't posted anything yet. And actually, I'm going to be posting this series to YouTube, so you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is obviously the Discerning Kaleidoscope. Check us out on the discerningkaleidoscope.com. And if you have any questions after you've viewed this series, please feel free, when I post it in the comments, please feel free to put your questions, and next time we're together, I will do my best to answer them. In the meantime, have a peaceful day, and thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.